Is Tuesday, September 20th. My name is Alecia Sacred Heart, and I am joined here with Lisette Murphy. Welcome, Lisette.
Hi, Alicia. Hi, everybody. I'm happy to be here. I love being on the Vision Train. It's good to see everybody.
Actually, I forgot to do one thing. Let's go ahead and do it now.
Let's.
Yes, let's. All right, sweet. Well, here we are off at the races. Doesn't matter how many times we do this, there's always a few little a few little unexpected things that we have to tend to. But that's the really fun part, I think, about working in live settings, and that's kind of what we're here to talk about today is working in live settings, right? We have a class coming up called The Image, the Word, the Mystery that you're teaching at ViTrA Academy, the Vision Train Academy of Art. And it's really all about being in the moment of creative flow and exploring that within your sketchbook through words and images, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly it. It's kind of like creating a space of permission and a kind of gentle container that encourages returning to that space in new and abundant ways. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, and this is something that you've explored here on the Vision Train before in different kinds of offerings that for me I've found incredibly valuable and in both like introspective ways, but also in like how uh, shocked I am at the beautiful cohesion that happens in these like collaborative, creative expression sessions that you facilitate through sort of like a creative play, right?
Yes, yeah, I love that too. Yeah, for the last couple years, I've been hosting a what I call a creative death cafe called the Art of Dying here on the Vision Train, where we've used creative gamification, play prompts, different ways to play with poetry, different ways to play with our words, different ways to play with images and symbols and our own personal myths and inquiries into the nature of existence and life and death. Um, and we've generated a lot of really cool work here on the train during those sessions, playing those games, and thought a lot of really deep thoughts together, been really vulnerable in many beautiful ways with one another. And and I've seen some really incredible work spin out from those sessions. Those generative containers seem to really act as very fertile little pots of soil from which other work grows. It's really special for me to see where people take the games that we play and the ideas that come through them, and how those ideas and move through their work, how those
Yeah.
thoughts continue to spin. Yeah. Yeah.
Something that I really admire about you is this like you're a wordsmith in a way, and the course's title being the image, the word, the mystery, I wonder if you could speak a little bit to what that means to you and how that informs the course that you're going to be giving.
Oh, I love that question so much. Yeah. Well, oh boy, as a wordsmith who loves getting wordy, I could just go on and on about this. But I think that what it really speaks to is the sketchbook and creating a sketchbook practice, cultivating a relationship with our sketchbook, and the discoveries that we make there. Um, and thinking about our approach not as I am a painter who is trying really hard to have a daily sketchbook practice because I know I should, or I would really like to write, but I don't really know what to do, and I make money doing something else, so I don't really write. The idea of image, word, of mystery is to say, all right, if the sketchbook is this space of infinite permission and infinite possibility, and we are receivers for stories vast and wilder than our greatest imaginations. And the sketchbook might be a tool for us to be able to receive those stories. How can we engage the great mystery of creation, the great mystery of story, of myth, of symbol, of poetry via the sketchbook? How can we access these kinds of peripheral realms of creative discovery? I think about the sketchbook as like a tool for seeing what's just outside of view, rather than arriving at the sketchbook at the way that maybe we arrive at a canvas, where we say we're on a mission, we're trying to get an image across, we're going to go through the steps to put this image on the canvas and produce this finished image. That's part of what many of us do a lot of the time. The sketchbook is a place to engage the mystery first, to engage the process first, and to really trust and submit to that permission, the privacy, and the play, and court the mystery a little bit through some games, through just throwing some stuff at the wall to see what sticks, playing around, messing around, layering our thoughts from different disciplines, words, images, and random chance, all colliding in a way that we can kind of learn from ourselves in an interesting feedback loop. And that we can also court the mystery and court creativity, this elusive, beautiful goddess, through opening the page and saying, I'm here and I'm ready to receive. Like, what comes next?
Mm-hmm.
That's how we're thinking about the sketchbook in this class.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a very intimate relationship with exploring my dreams and intentions in the sketchbook, and I feel like what we're really talking about here is magic, and
Yeah.
I talk about magic in art anyways, but I feel like
Yeah.
that really happens in the sketchbook, and the
Yeah.
sketchbook's often referred to as the spell book, and I've had really profound, I mean, sometimes it's like, it's a journal entry, and then it's like a study of a park that you're sitting at, and then it's maybe a tarot reading or something,
Yep.
and
Yep.
then some, like, you might have like a meditation, and yeah, like has this
Yep.
this image comes to you, and then there's like all of a sudden there's this like storyline that's playing out in your sketchbook that's ultimately this like introspective um journey, of your own, life, and
Yes.
your experiences within it, and it really
Yes.
ends up becoming this like rich database, of
Yes.
what it is that we're about, what we're dreaming about, where we want to be going. And
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, it is like the fertile soil of
Yes.
not only like that range of interests, but also like the discipline of coming to the sketchbook for, studying the figure or studying landscape,
Mm-hmm.
and just really like tuning into the world around you, and
Yeah.
like seeing and listening to the world. Like, we're on the vision train, and I really like to remind myself that this is like vision training, learning how to
Yeah.
see the
Yep.
world, and not only just for the expression of our art, of creating more technically proficient art, but ultimately it's like, the more you show up for that, the more it's teaching you about the act of arting life, of existing in life
Yes.
in general, so yeah,
Yes. Yes.
and I had such a great time in your offerings that you've had on the Vision Train. They've been really profound. So I'm really excited to see what happens in the next 2 months. We'll be meeting every other Thursday, starting with this Thursday. And you mentioned a little bit to me about you've prepped some prompts, like weekly prompts and daily prompts. So there's one live session that'll be like 2 hours long every other Thursday. But then throughout, sprinkled throughout those windows of time, we have a student forum that all students have access to be sharing and asking questions. And you've prepared some engagement activities for in between there. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, 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 yes. I will be in the student forum. I'm making a commitment to the classmates here on this journey with me. I'm going to be showing up to the student forum every day. I'm going to be interacting with your posts and creatively, poetically interacting with your posts. In fact, Anne, I will be posting my own so that you know that we're in this together. And I'll be posting mini prompts, daily prompts in there for those of you who want to just keep the ball rolling. So we'll have some missions and quests that we're on together across the 2 weeks in between each live class. And at that midpoint, the Thursdays that we're not live together, I'm going to be posting either an audio download or a journey for you specifically made by me in this studio for the class. So we're going to be engaging your senses through a number of different methods, and I'm really committing to show up to this so that you feel like you can commit to show up to it too. And I wanted to say that I love the way that you're talking about how life lives through the sketchbook, Alecia. And what we'll really be cultivating in this course is that poetic listening throughout all of the different corners of our life. That's one of the incredibly potent, powerful things about a sketchbook practice. If we can loosen up and not say, oh, we should have a practice, but instead say, hey, I've got this buddy that travels with me, and it's this like portal for capturing the stories floating on the wind. This practice that we're going to be cultivating works beautifully hand in hand with everything else that you're doing in the regular practices or one-off events that you have throughout your week. So if you, like me, have a regular meditation practice, the sketchbook practice works in tandem with that. If you, like me, like to go on regular hikes or walks or sit around in parks and gaze at the sky, this practice works really beautifully with that too. If you are involved in other online journeys or meditations, whether that's with ViTrA Academy or elsewhere in life or even in real life, perhaps, this is a practice that you can take with that too. And it works beautifully in tandem. What we'll be training is just our capacity for poetic noticing, poetic reading, poetic listening, and poetic full sensory response. Yeah. And that's going to be really embedded in all of the prompts that we have daily, weekly, and then in our live class sessions too.
Yeah. Yeah, so that reminds me that all classes are live, but we record them. So in
Yeah.
case, you're asleep when our class is happening, or you have
Yeah.
work or obligations of some kind in your life when the class is happening, then you can always pop in and we'll have the replay up and posted within a few hours of the course ending within your student content portal. When you register for a class, you'll end up creating your own student account, and then whenever we get finished with class, we upload the link to that. We put the link to that in the student content, so you have immediate access to that. And then I can't help but also imagine people on the subway, with their little AirPods in, or in a cafe, and doing, like exploring the creative listening, the poetic listening of all the dynamic, locations that one could be in, because it's right at your fingertips. All you have to do is log in on a browser, and there's also an application on your phone that you can use to log in. So you could literally be anywhere from, a mountaintop to the subway, and be able to be exploring in this creative listening and these creative prompts. So I'm super jazzed about it. Of course, I'll be front row and center. But you can find out all the information about this, friends, on our website. That's www.vitra.academy. The courses, the image, the word, the mystery with Lisette Murphy. We start this Thursday, September 22nd at is it 6 p.m. Eastern and 3
Six,
Pacific?
6 Central. Is it 6 Central?
So is it 7? Okay, is it 7 p.m. Eastern? Yeah. I
Yeah.
should probably know this.
Yeah.
But pardon me. So yeah, 7 p.m. Eastern and 4 p.m. Pacific, right? And so this is every other Thursday starting this Thursday. And so it's like a 2 month container, really. The course is running for $150, which is incredibly priced considering it's, ultimately daily prompts for 2 months, and community access, through the student forum, and access to you as well to be engaging with you and asking questions and sharing their explorations with you. And the live sessions are going to be super juicy. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
always super excited to collaborate with you, Lisette, and really can't wait to see what this course and this 2 month container really brings, and how it also supports the students that are taking other classes, in
Yeah.
their creative explorations and the other courses as well. So one
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
what we really wanted to create this container this fall that allowed for um, more introspection and like really regenerate the creative flow and the motivation within ourselves, and the connection within ourselves to our authentic voice. And
Yeah.
so your course being every other Thursday, coupled with Shanita King's course being every other Monday, was really this move that, I felt
Yes.
was like the universe was asking me to really like put my foot down and say, no, if we believe in a regenerative future and creating a regenaissance, then we
Yeah.
have to, to create space for these kinds of healings, actually. I mean, I really
Yeah.
believe that this creative play that you utilize
Yeah.
has incredible therapeutic and healing benefits. And it's been something that's been, that you've not only facilitated, but far before that, you were, exploring in your own life, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Creative play and gamification is pretty core central to my life method, really. My history is I've got a deep background in improvisational theater, working with remix art, chants, chaos, and oracular kind of reconfiguration is really what gets me out of bed in the morning. And it's so exciting for me to share that with people, and particularly to initiate that type of mystery play amongst groups, because every single time people come out of the experience saying, wow, wow, I can't believe that we all came up with that concept together. Wow, that story wasn't mine, that belonged to all of us. Whoa, we all came up with the same image. Whoa, how beautiful a poem did we just write with no one knowing what the poem was. Things like that really move me, and I think they really fill our tank, and they help specifically, I think, act as a balm on the wound that I think many of us have living in contemporary culture. That is a wound dug deep of the necessity to constantly produce and have a finished product, package ourselves, and particularly those of us who make our living as artists. We have a lot of pressure to produce content and move on, and this is an opportunity for us to go as deep as we want, to explore the places that may not have any financial value to us later, but are there to feed, really deeply nourish our our curiosity, our creative capacity, our souls.
Yeah. Yeah, and it,
Yeah.
it also like reminds me of how these kinds of explorations, are kind of the seeds of like mythology, right? And
Yeah,
that what we're practicing and dabbling with is like, you know, this mysticism, and the magic of when you create an intention and you're calling in a vision and you then bring it onto a page, whether that's in images or words,
hmm,
that it informs the universe of what is to come, you know, in some
yeah,
way, you know, and it's a form of prayer to
yeah,
me, you know, and
yeah,
I really see you know, most of my artwork as a form of prayer and praise
yeah,
um, of nature, you know, like what has been created, what has been divinely created, that we, you know, this existence that we get to occupy and witness,
yeah,
bear witness
yeah,
to, but also in the potential for it to be planting these seeds that will
yeah,
grow into a future that we wish to see, you know,
yeah.
and be able
Yes,
to
yes,
nourish and feed other seeds and other, you know, others along the way, and to give something that of value and nourishment for others to come and join
yeah,
along with, you know.
yes,
So,
yes.
you
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
yeah.
I really think of my sketchbook practice specifically as a spiritual practice. I'm really glad that you said that. I feel that a spiritual practice is a really phenomenal thing to try to define for yourself and engage with. And for me, um, poetry and images colliding in my sketchbook as I sit on the shore of a lake is truly the finest, most holiest form of connection to creation. I'm always astounded at the mystic arising just out of creating that space for myself. It's a really powerful tool. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious too, like everybody that's out there watching or anybody that's in here on the Zoom call, if you've had an experience like that, you know, that you're willing to share, please pop it in the chat. You know, I would love to go through the live streams and read that, even if
Yeah.
you're watching the replay and you're not watching right now with us. But if wherever you are, whenever you are, if you've experienced something like that in your sketchbook that ultimately like came to fruition or informs your life in some way, then please you know, please share with us if you're willing, no pressure, but if it's
Yeah.
something that you feel good about sharing, please do. I'd love to see it, and you know, just celebrate in the magic that it happens within the this creative play, you know. And you're so
Mm.
fabulous, Lisa, at helping create these safe spaces for this to be explored in. And you know, if y'all have not jumped on for any of Lisette's creative death cafes here on the Vision Train, or the more there is, the more there is. That was the wordplay one, right? Where we did the poetry and created the big long poems. Was that the more there is, the more there is?
That was the Holy Shadow Sacred Society and Oracle Club, another
The
kind
holy
of a
sh-
seed. Uh-huh. Another
yeah,
offering on the Vision Train that really was a seed for this
that
ViTrA
was
course for
that
yeah.
was
Yeah.
so cool. That was so cool. And you know, Lisette created these fabulous graphics of these prompts, these questions, you know, and encouraged us to then drop in the chat, you know, one line that goes along with that prompt or something like that, or even like a word. And then once the whole session was over, after hours, and this big
Yeah.
long scroll of a poem comes through, and
Yeah.
it was unreal how cohesive and poignant it was. And
Yes.
it's like almost like freaky.
Yes.
You know, I
Yeah.
mean, if it
Yeah.
wasn't just so amazing and like, you know, exciting, it would really be freaky because you have like, you know, maybe 40 people coming in and out of the room throughout that course of time and engaging, you know, at different intervals. And then all, you know, all of a sudden this thing pops out and like there's a pentameter to it, and you also read it really beautifully. But there's just this it's just
Yeah,
nothing short of
yeah.
magical. It's just
I
nothing short.
thank you so much. Thank you for that wonderful love for that practice. Yeah, and I love gamifying this technological space that we're interacting with, and I don't forget that when we come to class here, that
Yeah.
we're interacting via Zoom. We have a
Yeah.
few tools available to us on Zoom, and how can we make the form follow the function, as it were? How can we gamify the space? And so, yeah, by hopping into the chat and creating a game where everyone present writes a poem together without deciding beforehand what it's about. It's a great example of the type of work that we're going to be doing in Image Word Mystery, that really uses all of the tools available to us to inspire some awe and wonder, which I think we all could use more of in our lives. And it creates also a beautiful sense of cohesion. There's something like that beautiful feel that arises when you're sitting in a drum circle, for example, when people fall into rhythm together and create sort of a wholly felt sense agreement. And that's magic too. And
Mhm.
we endeavor to step into that same type of magic via that same type of agreement while playing games. We found that really and truly the distance learning, the working online like this, is not prohibitive to falling into the zone with one another, as it were. In fact, we find it works really beautifully, and the poetry that co-emerges and the extraordinary feedback loops we get into with one another are revealing themselves to be magical here all the time. So we knew that this was going to be a successful course because we've seen it so many times here on the train.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Right on. Do any of you guys have any questions out there for Lisette? And Lauren says, I've been journaling forever, but haven't effectively combined it with the sketchbook yet. That's so interesting how everyone's
Yeah.
practices are different, that some people
Yep.
really compartmentalize them and some are just completely interwoven.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, Lauren, because I think that's an important thing to state here, that I like to use the word sketchbook and journal and notebook kind of interchangeably a lot of the time. And for some people, those have very different meanings. Um, and so in this class, I'm encouraging students to start a fresh book, even if you have a daily journaling practice or a diary or a sketchbook. Start something. Let's consecrate something new with this kind of new lens on, just to try out a new method. And I will interchangeably call it a sketchbook, a notebook, a journal, um, but it's for this kind of combined practice. So that kind of combined layered experimentation. But I think oftentimes a lot of us will kind of put up rules or barriers between our practices and feel like, oh, well, I kind of started this, but this is like a diary. It's not really a sketchbook. Or, oh, I started this and it's my day planner. I shouldn't really be like figure drawing in it or whatever. I'm someone that really appreciates having things layered and intermeshed as much as possible, because, like Alecia was saying earlier, I like to see the way things unexpectedly communicate with one another. And that's really our intention, combining that sketching practice and that writing practice. If you're familiar with the concept of the palimpsest, this idea of a manuscript that is kind of rewritten with kind of layers, archaeological layers of what was written or drawn on it in past iterations, such that you can kind of see the topmost layer and kind of a shadow of everything that might have been written on that manuscript earlier. It's a type of a layering and like a collapsing of time, where different content, different ideas, different writings, different images might all be able to live together on one page and have that just be okay. So we'll be playing with all of those concepts quite a bit, and very specifically in this course. To really try to mash things together up a lot against one another, and stir things up with one another, and try to court those unexpected relationships. Yeah, kind of a net of ideas.
I'm also really interested how this is very strongly, like has a really strong um, relationship and connection to the kind of symbology and like quest that's happening within branding for artists, our
Yeah.
other course that's happening right now. And
Yeah.
I've been really interested to see what happens when students that are taking both, how they
Yep.
begin to form one another, and
Yes.
how the things that we're exploring in the image, the word, the mystery help inform like the voice and the symbology that comes forth within the branding for artists course, where people are exploring what their what the kinds of the look and the sound is of what they want to represent them, and what
Yes.
they want to bring, what their medicine and what they want to give to the world is, what that looks like and
Yes.
sounds like, and creating your brand, and also ultimately how you could do that for other people too,
Yes.
but just like this way of kind of asking questions and kind of these prompts that help us unfold and uncover things that might not be so obvious on the surface of
Yeah. Yeah.
our thoughts and our daily realities, so
Yes.
yeah, I'm so impressed.
I'm glad that you said that, because I've designed the story arc of this course with the other classes happening in the ViTrA term in mind. So you're going to hear references to what's going on with Miles' classes in our first class, because I know that many of you are going to be taking both. So we're going to be looking at personal symbol as part of our introduction, with the full knowledge that we're all teaching in the same mystical cave here, the ViTrA learning cave. And similarly, I'm very aware and hoping that many of you are going to Shanita's classes on the alternating Mondays. I'm aware of and mapping to the fact that you're going to be taking classes with Kevin Campeau and doing journeying with him, that you're going to be listening to Christina talk to us about monsters. So this course is mapped to fully acknowledge that we're exploring concurrently with other instructors, other offerings. And you're going to find that the course content week by week and the homework content, the daily prompts, are aware of that, and in fact tracking that and encouraging you to participate with those other classes in different ways too.
And if you're not in any of the other classes, then it's actually a really cool way for you to get to participate and get some insight into what's happening, So that is really exciting.
Yeah.
I love your thoughtfulness and your consideration. You always bring so much intention and attention to whatever it is that you show up for, and I really respect you for that. Lisette is also one of our right hands in the facilitation of ViTrA Academy, in that she's the head of all of our video content production. So you've really been an incredible steady and reliable and trustworthy confidant in creating all of what is happening here with with ViTrA, and kind of growing out of the Vision Train, the Academy of Art growing out of the Vision Train. And it's really such an honor to collaborate with you in all these capacities. And I very strongly endorse what you put together and offer this community, and those outside of it. If you don't know Lisette, I promise you, you are in for a real treat.
Oh, Alicia, thank you so much. You honor me. This is my greatest joy, my greatest honor, to be involved in this community and to get to bring these practices here and share in everyone's creation. It brings me so much meaning. I think this is a phenomenal space that you, I know, have poured so much of your heart and soul into. And I thank you for that, because this space really has become my home and I am so much better for it. I love
Yeah.
this community. I love the opportunity to deliver this container here. It really excites me. I'm just really stoked to see what everyone creates. Let's get into the magic. Let's do it.
Yeah, and we also would not be here if it was not for Amanda Sage, and she can't be with us right here in this moment, but really, thanks to her spearheading the vision train into reality, we are here today. So thank you so much to the Maestra, and thank you so much also to all of you that continue to engage with us and take classes, but also come here on the vision train. Right now, we are on a 24/7 Zoom call that's been going since March 24th of 2020. And that means that it's ultimately this like nonstop international creative space station where artists from all over the globe are coming in here and sharing music. We just finished with creative, constructive critiques for creatives, hosted this week by Jeffrey, our friend Jeffrey. And that happens every Tuesday. Next week, it's hosted by Molly Chopin. And every Wednesday, I host a figure study session here on this call. And afterwards, Lisette hosts an evening jam. And sometimes it's music, and sometimes it's podcasts, and sometimes it's fabulous conversations. So there's always free things happening here on the Vision Train, as well as our more produced offerings through the ViTrA Academy. So if you're out there and you're really just like kind of looking for something to do or some, something to participate in and jumpstart your creativity, this is a really great space that you can come to any time of the day. And of course, our courses are also they're designed to be supportive to your creative expression. And so thank you so much, Lisette, again, for your time today, and to all of you who are here live with us now, and those of you that are out there watching the stream, those of you that are watching it on replay. We really appreciate your time if you've made it this far. It has been super fun to chat with you, and I can't wait to start the image, the word, the mystery with you this Thursday, September 22nd, and then running every other Thursday until the end of November. The course is only $150. Those are 2-hour sessions. There's 5 2-hour sessions. We also have a discount for return students. So if you've been a student of ours in the past, your inbox for a discount code from us. And if you don't see it, then just email me at info@vitra.academy, and I'd be happy to send it to you. If you have any other questions, you're welcome to email me there as well. My name is Alecia Sacred Heart. I am the director here of ViTrA Academy, and it is my pleasure, as always, to be here. I can't wait for Thursday. And any final words, Lisette, before we sign off for this evening?
I can't wait either. Thank you so much.
Right on. See you guys next time. Choo choo.
Choo choo.